Hello and welcome to North Star Stamper. I'm Susan Kramer. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the state of Minnesota. Let me find myself on my computer. Oh, that's not the right one. Let's see if we're actually going live here. I actually record this in a private Facebook group and then I put it on, then I upload it to YouTube. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. As I said, I'm Susan Kramer and I live in Minnesota. There are other Susan Kramer demonstrators, and I want you to know who I am. So if you're you're purchasing with the right Susan Kramer, the one that you intended. So today we are talking about punches, and I have a whole bunch here on my table. We're going to start with circles. One of the most basic things, obviously you can punch circles and do all kinds of fun things with them. But here, when I wanted to show you how to create a oh gosh, the word isn't coming to me, a tab that will hold your card together. Often when I make gatefold cards, they don't stay closed. So I just have a scrap of white, and you can see I have a nice rounded end there. And I just tuck that underneath and my card will stay closed. I double dimensionaled the ends of this, and I shouldn't have, because it would stay closed even better if I hadn't done that. But so what I did was I took just a scrap and a circle, and I tucked it in between the cutting blades, just like this. You've seen me do this before. And then I get a nice rounded end, so that's all I took off. You could obviously do both ends. Let's cut this down a little bit. You could cut both ends and put it back in there, although the easiest way is to put it through this way and pull it to where you want it to be. Make sure you can see that, and then punch. And then I have a nice, doesn't look like a dog tag. There we go. Here come all the ideas. Hopefully you're getting the ideas too. But that would have been a perfect shape for a sentiment. Or do a whole bunch and put them on the background of a card or whatever. So that's just a circle. We could do that again with this one. So you can see here that I have, let me find my take your pick tool. I like to point things. So I measured my opening here, and it's 1 1/4 inches. And I used a permanent marker. This was an old Project Life that we used to sell. But something permanent so it won't rub off, so that I don't have to measure this every time I want to use the punch. So it's 1 1/4 inches, and I have, oh, I think I just used it. I have a piece of cardstock that's 1 1/4 inches, and so I can fit it through and just get one end. So if I wanted a really long strip, I'm not limited to the size of the punch. I can, as long as I know how wide it's needs to be, I can make, I could do one that's really long, the whole length of a card or scrap of page or whatever. So just using your punches for that. Now, one of the most interesting things that I learned from the very first in-person Stampin' Up! Event I went to was we took a circle punch. You can see I have scraps here. We're going to make some leaves for this designer series paper, and this is called Nests of Winter. So I'm going to help us figure out how to use nests of winter beyond winter, and we'll be able to make birthday cards or Mother's Day cards or sympathy cards next spring. So I'm going to put this in the middle of my circle punch. And now I have a real piece of scrap. I'm going to use just a scrap of white, and I did put a little bit of seal on the end there. A glue dot would work as well. I'm going to attach my circle to my handle because I wouldn't be able to fit this in with my fingers. And I'm going to use the handle to put it into here and just punch that much. And there we have a leaf. I would probably just use my fingers, put my thumbs in the middle there, and to give it a little more definition. Let's punch a whole bunch of those. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. I should have done this before. So I don't need the whole circle. I'll just do 3 or 4. So this was a scrap of garden green. I'm going to take my handle again. See, I can reuse this handle and just adhere it to there. Punch a leaf. And that's all right. I have a little bit of my handle stuck to that. Again, we're going to give it a little dimension. Since I know I took some of that off, I'm going to put some back on. Oops. Well, we'll just make 3 leaves. You get the idea. So I'm going to put it in there and punch 1 more leaf. Now we are going to take this bird that I had. Where'd he go? Oh, I have a layer here. I think I'd like this to be a lighter blue so it looks like sky. But here's a bird that I cut out from the Nest of Winter's Designer Series paper. And we can add leaves around him. You could use markers or blends to add some veins, you know, do as much as time as you have. That's what you would do. Make it more interesting. All right, so here I'm going to use a smaller circle. Sorry, we don't currently have a 1-inch circle punch. I wish we did. Let's vary the sizes here. So again, make a circle. Use a handle to put it back into your punch. And it's stuck. Hold on. Where's my take your pick tool? Put it back where it goes. That way you know where to find it. Again, I'm going to use my fingers just to bend it a little bit and give it some interest. This would be really cool if you added veins. Just to add different sizes. Well, you get the idea. You can... Where'd the little one go? There it is. There he is. So add some leaves to your winter paper. And it won't look like winter anymore. Wouldn't that be cute? I think that'd be a great sympathy card. Here. Oh, here come all the ideas. Now we can use this. Stamp with sympathy. Add some ribbon. Add some gems. I would add some veins to those leaves. I think they'd look a little plain. And we are specifically talking about punches, but you could do the same with a die. So these are dies from the Unbounded Love. So what I would do, I just die cut these out of a leftovers from a paper pumpkin. You might recognize them. I think it was the November paper pumpkin. So I just die cut. I would die cut a second time and get this shape. I didn't put it away. And get, you know, a leaf shape here, but this one time it's going to, this way, is going to have the stitching on there. So that would add some interest too. So use your scraps. Use your dies and punches in different ways. Don't think of them as just a circle. It's a cutting tool that we can use in different ways. I do have more to share. All right, so here I took, let's see if I took a circle and I created like a leaf shape in yellow. Let's do that again. Small one. Actually, let's just take one of our leaves that we just created. So I took what I consider to be a leaf shape, and I took my snips, and I just cut around and made. Oh, it looks better when it's small, doesn't it? But in yellow, doesn't that look like a flame? So as a circle cut into a leaf shape, or a second punch into a leaf shape, and then I just trimmed off a little bit of that. And to add some interest to my card, I embossed using the circle embossing folder, and my flame is going to go right there in the middle of that. Nope, I think I missed. Yep. I did stamp before I embossed because you would not get a nice image on top of embossing. And then I'm going to adhere my candle there. And then you have a card with birthday wishes. So another use for those, what I call leaves, but you can make a flame out of it. What else do I have? I have one more thing here. This is a new punch. To the point label punch. It's going to be in the January through April mini catalog. And I had one here. I don't know where it went, so I am just going to create it again. So I'm going to use the edge of my cardstock, and right where the punch is going, you know, it's almost flat right here. That's where I'm going to punch. So pull out your punches and see what you can come up with. What shapes you can come up with. So I'm going to use my handle again to put that there, just so I can feed it back into my punch again. And again, this time, actually, other way. I'm going to feed it in from the side. You can put it in from the bottom. That helps too a little bit. Actually, we don't need the punch. What am I thinking? I did this before. I'm like, wait. We just need a straight edge. So now I'm going to take this. Obviously, I know this line is straight, so I'm going to figure out it's about there. So just about on this line. It's 3/4 of an inch. I can use a Post-it to hold it, because that's not a very big piece. There we go. And again, I'm cutting it right where the edge, I put the edge of my cardstock there. So hold that. And I didn't quite do it. Let's do that again. Let's see if I have another one here. So I'm just punching. And then I'm going to line it up here on my cutter first, my trimmer first, so it's about there. There we go. Hopefully that will be, oh, actually it's a little more. There we go. It still isn't right. Let's see if I can find that one on my table here. Just take your time. You'll be able to do it. Here it is. So using the new to the point label punch, you can get, and that'd be a fun, get something like this, and then be a fun label on a card with a small sentiment. I'm really liking small sentiments so that my focal point, like I would put our bird on here, our focal point is much more noticeable and the center of attention. So I'm liking these small embossing or labels. So use your punches. There are so many uses. Oh, the other thing I have on my table here, I'm going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to our flame so that it shimmers. It's those little things on your cards that make a big difference. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. Create some leaves. Create some flames, create some labels, create some tabs with some interesting ends. Lots of things you can do with your punches. So just, I suggest you punch them in odd colors. I do that with dies too. I'll die cut something like it's a leaf and die cut it in a different color, and maybe it'll spark some ideas for you to different ways to use those tools that you are investing in. And I do think of them as investments. So thank you for joining me. Happy stamping. Happy Frugal Friday. Come back next week and I have some more ideas for our candle here. Have a great day. Have a great week. Take care.